Hi guys, welcome back to Doves. If you're new here, hi, I'm Kuti and welcome to Doves, which is short for Diary of Bookaholics. Before we start, for the next few days you're just going to be seeing my face. So, today we are going to be taking a walk down the memory lane. I'm going to be talking about books that made me fall in love with reading. And to address the elephant in the room, I don't have any books with me right now. Some were lost, some were borrowed, and others were ebooks. But I know that books are aesthetically pleasing to the viewer, so I'm going to put the books up here when I talk about them. The first book is Bubblegum Becky. Although this book did not make me fall in love with reading, I do believe it set a foundation for my love for reading. I think when I read it, I was 9 years old. All I remember is I was in a class and my class teacher asked who loves reading. I raised my hand, and that's not because I loved reading. I think I was just curious, or I don't know. I just raised my hand, and the few of us who raised our hands went forward, and she gave us this book. And I was so excited. I remember how excited I was. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a big girl now. I get to take textbooks home. Oh, big mistake. Yeah. My mom made me read that book every day, and it was not fun because, well, I was forced to read it and I didn't like it. But I do feel like subconsciously that was one book that actually started this whole reading thing. And funny thing is, I don't remember what happened in the book. I just know that Becky was a guy who liked chewing bubble gum, and one day he chewed a bubble gum and made a huge bubble and it became a parachute. I hope that's how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Yeah, and that's all I remember from that book. The next book is Mind Boy by Peter Abrahams. This book was my sister's school book for English literature, and I read it when I was 10 years old. I read it through different periods of my life. First when I was 10 years old, again when I was like maybe 12, 13, and then 15, 16. And every single time I read it, it sort of like opened my mind and made me more and more interested, and I learned something new. And it also helps that this book is a South African historical fiction. Yeah, so it deals with a lot of things that happened in the past, yet it's also a very funny book to read. So this book was published in 1946. It tells the story of a young man who moves from the village to Johannesburg in Camp Millet to look for a job. He's then taken in by Leah, who is an illegal beer brewer. Backstory: during apartheid, black people were not allowed to sell alcohol, so Leah would pay a local policeman to tip her when there is a patrolling going on, so that day she doesn't sell alcohol. She takes all the alcohol, put it in a drum, and bury it in dirt. So Tuma is then exposed to the appalling housing condition, because the house that he's staying in, the one Leah's house, is packed to the brim. Like, there's so many people living in that house. It's insane. And it's just this environment that is sort of like scary and unhealthy, and knowing that you're living in a house where they're selling illegal things, and if the police find out, you might all get arrested. So that was very, very bad. And he finally gets a job at a mine, and there he deals with labor discrimination, fights for people's rights. He falls in love, and it gets so complicated, backfires, and the entire story is just a roller coaster. And I love that although it deals with like serious things, it's also very funny. It's also a down-to-earth, very funny book. And yes, it's a South African book, so although it was written in the past, I do relate to it a lot, because it's a South African book, so I love that. The next book is Sunday Girl by Cathy Cassidy. This book is relatable, funny, sweet, dramatic, and short. It tells a story of a shy girl called Jude. Jude has a crazy family. Her dad is an Elvis impersonator. Her mom is an alcoholic, although she denies it angrily. She does all these horrible things, treats everyone so horrible, and she's just so immature. The grandma has Alzheimer's. The grandpa is the only one that's keeping the family together since the parents are divorced. So Jude feels like she's always chasing these trails of disappointment, and she thinks her family do not understand her. And then she is liked by a boy called Justin Carter, I think. This guy won't leave her alone. He literally just follows her around, and Jude is not having it. So Jude's life goes from bad to worse. Her mom alcohol issues gets bad. The mom's boyfriend breaks up with her, and things just go downhill. And Carter is still chasing her. It's insane, actually. And it's actually a very funny book. It's sort of like, you know, those fluffy, funny books that do not require a lot of thinking. You're just reading them to just get through the book, but they are so amazing and so unforgettable. And also what made me really like this book was also I was around 16, 15, and the main characters were just a few years younger than me, so I could relate a lot with them. So I really love this book. The next book is The Academy Introduction by c.l.stone. This book is the first book of the God's Birth series. From the moment I read it, I was whipped into the academy world and nothing else mattered. Not sleep, not my social life, not any forms of entertainment that I enjoyed, and sometimes not even food. I don't know what was up with this book, but it was as if I was hypnotized. So, this book follows the story of Sang. Sang is a naive, clueless, loyal, sweet, and sad girl. It's almost like modern day Snow White retelling. Like, listen to this. The mom is abusive and agoraphobic. The dad is negligent. The sister is just downright ignorant and mean and self-centered. Sam tries to run away from home, and she stumbles upon these 7 guys who are just so awesome. So these guys are immediately drawn to Sang, and they will do just about anything to protect her from the world's ugliness, including her mom. Sang actually just wanted a normal life, but her new friends are not normal at all. So see, this book is very problematic. Really problematic. It stands for a lot of things that I don't like in books. Although something about it's so addictive. The more I read, the more I just wanted to read and move on to the next book. And even to this day, I'm still waiting for the 13th book, which is called Unsung Requiem. Yeah, it's one series that is just long running, and it just captures your attention, and you just want to read more and more. And when you're done reading it, you will just go back to rereading it, and it's just as if you are hypnotized. You cannot help but want to read more and more. And I just loved everything about it. The next book is Cinder and Ella by Kelly Oram. So this book is one, if the academy introduction was not it for me, this book was. It was just the most amazing book that I've ever read, and even to this day I see no wrong. So it follows the journey of Ella Mara. After a tragic accident that left her crippled, motherless, and scarred, she was involved in a car accident that left her with 70-degree burns in her body. She tried to kill herself, especially since she was told that she would never be able to walk again. So, but she did manage to walk, but she had to use a cane to walk, which further in the book they're going to call it candy cane. Yeah. Anyway, because she's basically a danger to herself, she's forced to go stay with her dad, who abandoned her years ago, and his new family that replaced her when he left her. So this new family is just the stepmom and 2 evil stepdaughters. Oh, do you get Cinderella vibes from it yet. Yeah. So yeah, in order for Ella to escape the new family, she has to find a support system which forces her to reconcile with an old internet best friend who is the only person that means something to her. They met online and they started emailing each other. His name is Cinder, hence Cinder and Ella. If you just put it together a little bit, you can hear that it's just Cinder, Ella, Cinderella, right? So cool. They reconnect and they start talking to each other, and the both of them, they are going through crazy life issues. Cinder, happens to be Brian Oliver, a Hollywood sensation who is literally a troublemaker. I don't think I would have read it if it was not written by this author, but she wrote it so well that you were so consumed in the story and you wanted to just continue reading it, although it was just, yeah. So I really loved it, and I reread it so many times, and it has a sequel. Yeah, it has a sequel, so I loved it so much. And yeah, that's it for this video. These are the books that made me fall in love with reading, although it was basically a walk down the memory lane. The more of these books I read, the more I loved reading. And actually talking about these books is kind of, it makes me sad because it brings back old memories, back when I was younger and I was just starting to read, and it's just a very kind of emotional, because reading was kind of like something I used to escape my life, something I just used to heal to. So even now, although I feel it's like I don't need much escaping as I did then, reading is just a safe space for me. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want me to do videos like this, comment down below, and also tell me which books made you fall in love with reading or made you interested in wanting to read. I would really love to hear that from you guys. Thank you guys. Bye.